are these local-ass bitches? On today's show, the bitches go deep again. Philosophically, that is. Get a glimpse into their collective brain as they discuss their ongoing path to happiness and fulfillment. Then listen in as Rosa discusses her no buts allowed unless you're in the shower policy, while Lisa offers a practical sudsy solution. Learn about Manny's scratch and sniff test and why Nora ain't licking no sulfates. Without further ado,
I'm Lisa.
I'm Manny.
I'm Rosa.
I'm Nora.
Welcome to the lab.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the lab.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Episode 15 today.
15.
You know, the last couple episodes we started off saying like, we've been so consistent. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
Well, we kind of slipped. That's okay though.
Yeah.
Well, it's the summer in Chicago, and
Right.
this is just nothing gets done.
Yes.
It's just the most beautiful city in the summer. It's
Yes.
the best time.
You try to take
Hot
advantage of the
as
days.
fuck.
Yeah, today is really hot. But actually today is not that bad because there's a breeze. Yesterday was kind of sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, but whatever. You know, it's going to be over before we know it.
I know. Time to go to the beach. Today was the
Yes.
Gay Pride Parade. Over
Yeah,
a
how'd
million
that go,
people.
Manny?
Well, there was over 1 million people, which was crazy. I remember
Damn.
when I started marching in the parade, I was 16, and there was 50,000 people when I was 16. And we were like, oh my gosh, there's 50,000 people. Today there was 1 million.
1 million.
1 million
mofos.
people watching. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
Yes.
That's
When
awesome.
was that when you started, like...
1996 is when I started.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
96.
So did you have fun? I mean, was there a lot of people there? You said it was a little bit more toned down than
It
usual.
was a little more toned down, not as many jock straps, not as many drag queens on stilts. But they had some really cool things. They had a lot of tributes to Orlando,
Okay.
which was really cool.
Oh my God, yeah.
And part of what was nice was just to like be reminded that there's a lot of really good, accepting people in the world, you know, and
That's
everybody
always
there
nice.
was just there
Yeah.
to support and have fun, and like, because you know there's so much ugliness in the world
Yes.
right now, and just we're seeing the ugly side of a lot of, you know, whether it's Trump or
Oh,
it's
God.
just, you know,
Yeah.
nativism all around the world, or whether it's ISIS, whatever it is. You know, it's nice to know that there's people that
It's
are
nice
still,
to be reminded of that.
Yeah,
You know, to
and-
like be.
and
Yeah,
I believe
to
we're the
experience
majority. I
Love
really
always
do.
wins for sure.
Love always wins.
Hopefully people start getting that message.
Yeah. It sounds
Yeah.
cheesy, but in a way, like, I mean, that the positivity is a higher vibration, they say. You know what I mean? Like, frequency
Yeah.
wise. So.
And I feel like
believe
right
that.
now, it's like things are changing so fast that the people that are stuck in fear or like lower vibrations
Yeah.
are like just acting out, and
Yes.
it's like popping a zit right now, and they're
Yes.
just freaking
Like an
out.
infection.
Like
Before
an infection.
it gets better, it's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, you know, we were saying about Brexit, like Britain leaving the United, you know, leaving the European
Yeah,
Union.
the EU,
A
yeah.
lot of that was a reaction to change and a reaction, you know, like people's instinct is to just go inward and like close themselves off. Like Donald Trump literally wants to build a wall to like wall us off.
I still feel like I'm
From
in
the
an
rest of the
alternate
world.
universe with that mofo running. I mean, I really can't,
right?
I still
Yeah.
can't believe it and how far he's come. I mean, it's incredible.
I don't
It's
know, man.
incredible.
I don't think it's real.
I
Well,
know.
it's very real because there's a lot of people that support him.
Oh my
and
God!
it's
Yeah, you
very
hear
real.
this stuff, yeah,
A
and people
lot of
calling in
people.
on radio shows, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, yeah,
It's just like he's
Something in
the
the water.
yeah, something in the water.
Maybe. Well, I think it's also like part of it's like people have lost all faith in like institutions.
Absolutely, definitely.
You know, like they've lost ever since the financial crisis, whatever. They've lost faith in government. They've
And the
lost faith in
government, that
institutions.
was- yeah.
They've lost faith in everything. So what they want is like somebody that'll stick it to them. You know,
Yeah.
even if it's like somebody crazy like Donald Trump.
Jesus Christ.
So that's what a lot of
But
people want.
he
Is
is
like,
the institution, isn't
I
he?
know, and that's what the
And
sad
a lot
part
of
is.
times it's like, oh, he just seems so real, and he speaks like, you know, totally. I'm not like, oh my God, it's like he's just like one of us or whatever. I remember hearing from someone
I
before.
hate
it's like,
that
you don't-
argument.
Yeah, it's like you do not.
He's just like one of us.
Yeah,
No,
yes,
he's not. He's
yes.
I would be
And
the
it's like,
worst
he's just a
president. I
real
don't want
person.
somebody like me.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I would be the worst president.
Yeah,
Oh.
I can't even imagine.
Like, I want a smart motherfucker like Obama in there.
They would say that about Vera Palin, right?
Oh my God.
She's just like us.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you know, she's a mom and all that. Yeah, absolutely.
And she's
Yeah.
the mayor of the crystal meth capital of the United States.
Oh God, that lady really got under my
Bitch.
skin.
But no, I do feel like it's a reaction to like things just going so quickly. Social media, it's like you can't really turn things off anymore. Like you're always connected.
You're inundated.
You're
with
inundated constantly. And I feel like everybody finds their own truth, and like nothing is really the ultimate truth anymore is gone.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, there's
It's
always
whatever
somebody
their
that's going to agree with
perspective
you.
is. Right.
There's always some bullshit, like scientist that will back up whatever bullshit claim you have.
Right.
Or some, you know.
And everybody's connected. So everybody's got, is privy to all this information at the same time.
Conspiracy
But they
theories
take
galore.
it in the way they want to, just like anything else in the world, just like the Bible, just like whatever, you know? And, everyone interprets what they want to interpret in the way that makes them comfortable and feels safe.
Right.
And in times of
that's
fear,
dangerous.
they're going to interpret
it
it
could
more,
be dangerous,
more in a fearful way. And in times of,
Right.
prosperity, they'll... But yeah, I think we're still recovering from a lot of stuff. But I don't know. People are just really fucking angry and weird.
I think it's like, he's there, but he's only there because they're like, who else? Because they really want Hillary to win.
I wonder about that. You know what I mean? Because I think, like, a lot of times it could be like a big old phony show.
No, I just don't think like what he's doing. Like people,
even
if he's not real, the people that are for him are real.
That's true.
Yeah,
the people that like
That's
him
scary.
are real.
Yeah.
that is not fake at all.
Yeah. That I believe.
And among them are KKK people
It's fucked up,
that
man.
will, and
That's
he wants to
fucked up.
disavow them.
He'll make this country right.
Yeah.
Ill.
And what that means is he'll make this country what again.
Yeah, ill.
But it's not even white. They want
Yeah.
what they want is it to go. They're reactionary, so they want it to go back to like the 50s when like
Exactly, before
women
civil
didn't
rights.
work.
Yeah.
Before civil rights,
Yeah,
before gay
absolutely.
rights, before women's rights. That's what Make America Great is really saying. Before there were immigrants,
disgusting.
even though we've always had immigrants.
We are the immigrants.
We are the immigrants.
The country was
The
built by
localized
immigrants.
bitches are the immigrants.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
are all immigrants,
Absolutely.
Holy shit.
If you are not a Native American, you are a fucking immigrant.
Yeah, when Italians came over, we were called the WAPs,
Yeah.
which is without papers.
Without papers, yeah.
Without papers, and then we weren't even considered white.
Correct. Yeah.
Irish weren't considered white.
They weren't
Yeah.
considered white at all.
Yeah.
So it's funny what
They were considered worse, even worse than the slaves.
Yeah.
They were put. They.
That's fucking
The
crazy.
mentality behind the Irish slaves is that the black slaves were they were too strong and they were very too much. They were needed
Like more in
too
demand?
much. No, they were needed too much to do the important work, so they put the Irish people to do the fucked up shit, and it was just insane. And you think about it, a slave is a slave. I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
saying
like
one
who's
was
better?
than the
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
I'm just saying that either they were thought of even less than black slaves at some point. Isn't that amazing? I mean,
could you
it's
imagine
amazing to
during
have
those
that
times?
mentality no matter what. I don't mean to stir up controversy.
I am fascinated by those times. And not that I would want to live, I mean, my God, I would be like a total second-class citizen, of course.
We would just be different. We're not equipped.
No, but I can't even imagine what that would be like. I mean, good Lord.
to see human beings as slaves.
And just the way
to-
people were treated and the general mentality of people and the way that they thought and the things that they were indoctrinated with, like their beliefs, and what, I mean, it's just, and because, well, not only are we like in the modern age now, but we live in a big city, so I'm even, and I've said this before in past episodes, I'm shocked when I hear about, when people say that certain small towns, they still experience like major racism and they still experience, I'm totally like, what? Because we didn't grow up that way, thank God, but I mean, it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
But
it's-
also, like, my friends, that are black, like,
Yeah.
they still, even in
Even
Chicago,
here, yes.
they encounter it all the time.
Exactly. And
You know,
because I don't have that
we don't
experience.
have that experience.
Right. And I'm always like flabbergasted. Like,
Yeah.
like I said, like I feel like naive and I'm totally like, what? How could that fucking possibly be in this day and age? But yeah.
Even on, like, gay dating app, my friend was saying that so many guys come up to him and are like, I've never been with a black guy before. Like, I really want to be with you. Or like, oh, you really changed my mind. I've never been attracted to black people.
Like it's a novelty.
He's like, is this supposed to make me feel good?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like this,
It's like a bucket
it's
list
like you're not
thing. Yeah.
complimenting me. Like that doesn't feel good.
I had that once. Remember, I told you that the guy wanted me to use me as his sex experiments because he'd never been with
Oh yeah.
a full-figured woman. I was like, bitch, go find somebody else. You know?
Yeah. It's like I'm not interested.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
They're not
cool,
seeing
but
you as a
Well,
person.
you're
They're
not
seeing
interested
you as
because
a
you-
physical thing.
Somebody
That's
else maybe
wrong.
will be into being a physical thing.
That's
But Nora
wrong.
obviously
I've
wasn't.
heard
She was
that-
like, nope.
I've heard that happening to so many, like, trans women that I
Oh,
know.
absolutely.
They're
It's a
always
novelty
told that.
to
I'm
some
like,
people.
What the
Yeah.
fuck? Who even says something like
Oh, yeah.
that?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
absolutely.
random
They'd be like,
friend
"Oh,
of
I've never
mine
tried
say-
it before."
A guy told me like, "Oh, I've never been like with a woman with a penis." Like that was the pickup line to her. Like,
Thanks
Wow.
for
and
nothing.
she's like, "I'm in the bar, like,
And
okay." Like,
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, they just think that they can say whatever."
Wow.
Yeah, that's.
Well, it's got to be hard for them to differentiate between people that like them for who they are, or people that like them for a fetish, or somebody in between where they do like them for who they are, but they're also attracted
Right.
because they're
Right.
trans,
Yeah.
you know, and it's
Just
like
makes
that's got to
everything
be
so
hard.
complicated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yeah.
But if you think about it,
Fine.
we've come such a long way with trans issues,
Yes.
with gay issues,
Oh, these you
civil
couldn't
rights.
even
It's
have these conversations.
such a long way, and that's
Oh,
why
yeah.
there's such a reaction to it right now, and that's why Make America Great Again is a reaction to all that stuff.
But like, when was it great?
The 50s, that's what they
Yeah.
want. They want it to be back in the 50s
It was
when
great for who?
Family
for
values.
white men.
See, but
For
this is the
old
thing.
white men.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
It
what it was
was-
great for.
On the surface, it looked like everybody was Leave It to Beaver.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
they
they weren't.
probably
It was
had the
fucked
most
up.
fucked up,
Oh, yeah.
dysfunctional families
It's like
that
Mad
they
Men.
were forced to
Yeah.
stay in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're forced to stay. You couldn't get a divorce.
People didn't have choices.
Yeah.
If your husband beat
Yeah.
you, you just had
Yeah.
no choice.
And on the
Just like, oh well,
outside,
see you later, lady.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're your husband's property. He can
Exactly.
do whatever the fuck he wants to.
that's
do.
fucked up, man. Mm-mm.
That's crazy.
And that's what Make America Great Again, I think, really is. Because it's not revolutionary, it's reactionary. It's
Yeah.
the opposite of revolution. It's
Right.
going back.
Yeah.
Why do people not
Yeah.
like Obamacare?
Well, it could be, Obamacare.
God.
Let's field Rosa.
Yeah.
Dead. The wind up and pitch.
Because I saw what you call it. I saw like I can't wait till we get Trump back in office so he can get rid of Obama.
Yeah.
Why would you want to
Well,
get rid
first
of
of
it?
all,
Well,
that's
first of
not
all-
that easy now that it passed.
Yeah, it's
you know
very
that's why
difficult.
they were so
Like,
like
how does it affect
get it through,
them?
get
Why
it
do they
through.
even care?
Well, the reason people hate it so much is because, well, actually, people are funny because
Mm-hmm.
what Obamacare is actually designed by the Republicans in the 90s by
Mm-hmm.
Newt Gingrich because Hillary had
She wanted
her health care plan was like
single
universal
payer.
health care,
Wasn't
right?
it the single payer?
Single payer
Yeah,
health care.
uh-huh.
And then the Republicans are like, no,
No
we
way.
should do a free market solution, which was a combination of insurance and
Of course,
government.
they gotta make money.
And this,
Yeah.
this was their plan, but
Yes.
because Obama
Yeah, now
did
it sucks.
it sucks.
Yeah.
And they hate it.
Yeah.
This is basically like Mitt Romney's plan.
Yes.
In Massachusetts, they
Massachusetts.
modeled it after
Right,
that.
right,
but
right.
because it's from Obama, it's useless.
Yeah.
But it's not perfect because they diluted it down. But like pre-existing conditions, thank God they don't have those anymore. Else I wouldn't be able to get insurance right now.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
and
Absolutely
sad
not.
and just ridiculous and in some ways inhumane.
Can you believe that was a law?
Yeah.
Like
What
if
law?
they could just be like, oh, you have a pre-existing condition, we
Yeah.
won't take you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who needs it.
Right.
And the fact that you even need it to begin with, and just
I had no
Right.
questions
ridiculous.
asked. It was basically
Yeah.
like, how much do you make?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
what kind of insurance do you want?
Yeah.
That's like basically
It's
it.
great.
That's
Yeah,
your value
like-
as a human being in the government's eyes.
What? With,
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's just ridiculous to me. That's why I hate government and all that stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
I just hate it.
I mean, how
I
much
mean, I
is
have to exist in it.
insurance?
I
Right.
understand. I don't get it. There's no cohesive thought process. Everyone's all over the place, and you just have to like grab on and hope that it'll carry you forward, and it just doesn't make any sense.
And they're so mixed up with corporate America.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that.
that's
You know
what
what I
it
mean?
is
Like
because there's
that's-
so many countries where it
Yes.
works.
Yes, yes.
And there's so many examples, and we refuse
The American government
to
though.
do it.
Yeah.
You know, the American government, like, there's a lot of things that we do well, but there's so many things that we like fuck up, and people get into government that don't like government,
Yeah.
that think it should be destroyed and weakened, and then they fuck everything up.
Right.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Oh my god, we could be here for weeks talking about this shit. Oh my god. But one of the things though, changing gears, where we were talking about, we were entertaining like some ideas for some topics. And one of them was, what is the hardest thing that you ever had to do in your life that you did, and it made you stronger?
Oh, snap.
Mm-hmm.
wants
And it's
to
pretty
go
deep.
first?
It's pretty deep, yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Depending on your orientation.
That's what she said. Oh my god. Well, do you want to go first since it was your,
Yeah. Go for it, bro.
I think that's a yes.
Yeah.
I think it would. I mean, like quitting my job and going into like
What you love.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really
fucking
proud
hard.
of you for that because you never were the type of personality that would jump in with both feet in general into things. You know, you know how some
that's
people
a
are
big
just
step.
born that way.
Right, yeah.
You know,
Now
and they
that
do it all
I'm
the time.
doing it, I
Yeah.
realize why people don't do it, but I'm also sad that people don't.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
because it's not
Like,
as scary.
Because you're like, if
think-
I could do it, anybody
Yeah.
could do
yeah,
it.
like you're like you find out so many things about yourself that you're like, why am I like this? Oh, this is why I'm like this, and you just find out so much shit, and then in the end, you're just like, man, like I don't even know. It feels like I left that job that I was at a million years ago.
Yeah.
I was talking to my dad. I'm like, why? And then my dad's like, because that's just not you anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You can no longer connect with that anymore.
God, that's crazy.
That he's like, it has like no time frame to you anymore. Just end it. That's it. Before you were very linear,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just stopped there, and now it's incredible. Maybe because I never did things like that before.
That's what I'm saying. That is not in your personality.
So how do you-
usually.
How do you think that experience has now translated, or has it yet to translate into other areas of your life? How has it made you stronger? So now, do you do other things
Yes.
outside of your comfort zone?
Yes.
Like?
Oh, right. Like I'm starting to like be more open to people. Like I was an introvert. Like I could sit there and like talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, and so now slowly you can be like, oh, you can start meeting new people.
And people aren't scary.
and-
Like, they're not
they're
threatening.
not. And
Yeah.
now that I work with people, you just realize people are nuts, but it's like a good nuts. We're like all nuts.
Because we're
We're all
nuts,
crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're all
exactly.
crazy
You're
in
not
our way.
an anomaly. Yeah.
Right. So I always
That's
felt
comforting.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, there's so many, everybody's just nuts, and they will accept you if you accept them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you have an understanding of people and the fact that they have multiple facets to their lives and their personalities, and we all have some sort of neurosis, and we all are vulnerable, and we all have wants and needs and desires and urges and ambitions and fears that. And just because they're different doesn't mean, that it's wrong. It just means you understand that
Yes.
everyone has a pocket for that.
And you have like an
And what
openness.
this taught me doing
accept it.
something like that is I realize why people tell you to do something like that, something crazy like
To
that.
shake
I
up your
pick
whole world?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I realize why. I realize why people don't want to do it.
Right. Because it does shake up your whole world.
I realize that you have to accept your vulnerability in order for it to be successful.
Would you do it again if you had the choice
Yeah.
to go back? Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Would you
great.
have done it in a different time frame?
No. Like
Just
you
the
mean
way it
like,
happened was the way it was
just
supposed
the
to
way it
happen.
happened was perfect.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's sometimes it's just the way it has to be.
Yeah, it was supposed to happen now.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
And some people just aren't ready. You know what I mean? You do it when you're ready.
Right.
Right.
And you're ready finally.
Like if you just do something like that, it's insane. And still, every day is completely new.
New, yeah.
There's nothing set. I don't know if this will fail 2 years from now. 1
So you
year
found the
from now.
lifestyle that also fits with your personality, which is something that is very rare.
Yeah, but I didn't know it fit with my personality.
Until you did it.
Yeah.
And then you realize you're like, oh man, I can really do this.
Right.
Because then I think like, oh, sometimes I miss, and then I'm like, why do I miss that past life? It's just because it was easy. Like my sister's like, it was easy. You always want to go back to it being easy. I
Right.
knew what every day was going to be. Now I don't. I have no idea what next week will bring. Every week is like that.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
That also prepares you for the ups and downs in life, and whatever, going to the store, you don't know what's going to happen. Going here, you don't know what's going to happen. And maybe in the past you would have been like, no, I'm not going to even try and do these things. And now you're like, well, if I can handle this, I can handle anything.
Exactly. Like makes you
Kinda
more flexible.
That's why I want people to do that.
Yeah, that's why it's like you have to go through hard things in life, and people try to shield themselves from it as long as they can.
Yeah.
But the more you do, then you won't grow. You know what I mean?
It's
you
the-
won't,
yes,
You won't
yes.
get to the
Because
next
they do, who
level.
was it that said the most challenging thing that you pick is the best? If you're a little bit scared of it, it's
Yeah, you
the
should.
right thing to do.
Yeah.
You should go forward with it.
What about you, Lisa?
Oh man, I was just thinking about it the whole time that you were talking. I don't know. off the top of my head, I don't think I had that yet in my life. Like something so
It's
hard.
yet to come for you?
Yeah, it's yet to come for me because I mean I've done hard things, I've sacrificed, I've done things that were difficult, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they were life changing. You know what I mean? Because I think there's still a lot of things in my personality that I have to work on, and I think that I need to, you know, something in my life I need a shake up. You know, like to facilitate a shake up, not because I don't, I mean, who wants like.
Right, something
wants
crazy.
surprises.
Yeah,
but like something that you embark on. You know what I mean? Like something that you're just gonna like really forge on your own.
Was there anything up to this point that you were like, wow, that was really hard, or wow, that was crazy?
Maybe like, well, okay.
It doesn't have to be job related,
Okay, that's good because I think maybe when I was younger, when I was about 19, 20, remember when my grandmother passed away and I had the whole responsibility of my family because we had some family members that, we got into a legal battle and like all this stuff. So I'm 19 years old and I'm dealing with all this stuff with, the house being in probate. I don't know what the fuck. Like you're already like an idiot at like 19 years old.
Yeah.
And I was going to school full time and working full time. So that was hard. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like I didn't have the difficult.
Unbelievably stressful.
And the thing is now come to think of it, I guess I did grow a lot as a person, and it made me grow up really fast, and also to learn about myself that I actually, that I'm. Oh God, how do I put this? That I was surprised at the things that I accomplished. You know what I mean? That I never thought I could do because I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I
you
did
could,
it.
and
yes.
it was out there to be accomplished.
Exactly.
You had to do something and you had to push through it.
Exactly. And I'm like, holy shit, that worked.
It's
you know what I mean? It's like,
what I'm going
and you're
through
like, oh my God, it worked.
I mean?
Yeah.
Well, there's even like, I forget what Indian tribe it was, but there was a Native American tribe that would, when you reach a certain age, they would send you out into like the forest, like really deep in the forest, and then you would have to try to find your way back and survive and try to do it as like a rite of passage.
Correct.
And it was like whatever rite of passage it was, but it's in modern society it's similar.
I'd
to
be
that
dead.
kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
No, you wouldn't. I think that the human condition. No, I don't think so.
But like I'm juicy. Eat me up.
You know what's funny is people that say that, you guys would probably be the ones to save the day during Armageddon. Like the ones that totally think like, oh my God, I would totally like crawl in a corner and die, and you guys would be like dun dun dun, dun and totally like save everyone. And we wouldn't even expect you to because we'd be like, oh yeah, they would totally like curl up.
Like, is that Rosa flying like Superman?
It's always the people that you would
leapt
never
that
guess.
tall building in a single bound.
Oh man, and then I guess also another thing now, like I'm to think of it, I mean I guess I did go through a couple of things. That was one of them. And another one was spiritually when I was 30, when I got introduced to Eckhart Tolle, which I absolutely love. Yeah. And he just resonated with me. Like, because the teachings are very old. He didn't come up with anything new.
Yeah.
I mean, they're ancient teachings, but there was something about him that resonated with me.
And the way he presented it.
And the way he presented it, and it made so much sense to me. And I went through that enlightenment period, and that was hard.
And scary.
Going through, it's scary. Like, I'm like, wow, this is what it means. That's what it fucking means.
Right.
This is what enlightenment means. Like, all it is just that you're aware. You just, like, realize.
It's so hard because
it's so strange.
I still can't look. I'm not ready for that yet.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah. It's really hard for that. Like, my brain can't wrap around. I know it.
Yeah.
It
when it hits you, and I still remember, like, it was yesterday when it finally hit me. I was in Portage Park, in the park, of all places, and I was sitting there, and I was reading.
It happened to me with that same book.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Now,
like he really, like, I mean, I just love that man. I would kiss him, like, huge, big old smack him on the lips, because I swear to God, I just love him. So I'm sitting there, and I was like reading, whatever, and I'm like going through, and I looked up, and there was a little baby squirrel with a mother squirrel.
Aww.
And it was a beautiful spring day, because I remember it wasn't super hot like this. It was pleasant, and everything was just like really green and beautiful. And I can't even explain to you like what it felt like. It was like I didn't exist anymore, and everything was connected to me, and I was connected to it.
Right. You didn't exist individually anymore.
No.
Is what you mean.
Yeah. And everything. Thing. No, it's like I could feel it vibrating through me.
Right.
And it started, like, for some reason, it was when I looked at the baby squirrel.
Oh, Tony Soprano.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That's why I love Tony Soprano when I found out, when I was watching, we were watching, and I was like, oh my god, he loves animals, I would totally marry him.
Oh my God.
I would never marry Tony
This
Soprano.
is so off topic. Have you ever seen on Netflix this thing called The Beginning of Life? It's a documentary and it's about like babies, and I was like, oh, I want to have a million babies.
I want to have a million babies.
It's like people talking about like babies and the way they're affected in the first 5 years of their lives and all this stuff, and then the mother's like, I just have so much love, and I was like,
Yeah.
You have to watch it.
I don't think I can. I would die.
It's really beautiful.
I was just like, I'd be like, dig my grave while I'm crying, so I'm just gonna plop in and die.
Yeah, it's really
Because I love babies so much.
And that's the thing too, is like just the connection between all people. I think that's what also, that was the, during my journey and like the beginning of it, you know, like as I was going through that. And it's so hard to explain. It sounds so hokey. I'm like, I'm one with everything, and the blade of grass is totally like me. No, I'm serious. It really fucking felt like that.
Right.
And it's more like people that never, you know, that don't believe in this stuff. You know, because there's people that don't. They're like, man, you're full of shit. You know what I mean? It's like, but I swear to God, it's like,
You can't explain
But
it.
if you think about it,
explain
it's
it. It's
all
not-
everything is electrons and protons.
that's
It's
what I'm saying.
Your
Yeah.
body,
Yes.
the air between us,
Yes.
everything's the same
Yes.
thing. It's made of the
Absolutely.
same exact thing.
Which
so
is beautiful. I love thinking about stuff like
logically,
Yeah.
it does actually work.
Yes.
You know, if you really think about it scientifically.
that. Yes.
You know, and that's where
Even in a
science and spirit
right,
kinda
scientific
come together.
level. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love thinking about that stuff. But before we get like too metaphysical, you know, because I tend to do that, I guess.
So you
But,
try to do something that shakes you up.
yeah, even though that did shake my world,
Yeah.
those two things did, you know. But I don't know why I feel. You know what's interesting is now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, I didn't have an experience like that, but I guess I did twice.
Yeah.
And once it fades, you're totally like, oh, but I
You
never really had
forget-
anything.
you
really-
forget how-
you forget how hard
yeah.
it was.
No, it has to be something, like do something.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, it really helped me grow a lot as a
That
person.
does, but
Not only the spiritual thing, but even when I was 19, going through all that stuff with the family and all that stress and all that stuff.
Maybe I would say starting a band.
That's true.
Like
That's
it's
true.
It's got to be something that you're like, I always want to do this. I'm fucking scared. This is so unlike me. I'm gonna do this shit, and I don't know where it's gonna bring me.
I mean,
I would say for me personally, starting a
Yeah,
band.
well,
everybody's different. Somebody else starting a band is like nothing. They wouldn't have felt that way about it.
I always felt like I needed to do it. You know what I mean? Like even now I still have like the bug. Like I still want to like write. And that's what I was telling like Nora, you know, like what I tell everybody that plays music, even friends of mine that left it. And I was like, I don't know, man, I could see you going back, and then they go back. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, like I said, I'm going to be 9 years old. I don't give a shit. I'll probably sound like sandpaper, but whatever. I'll still do it. You know, because you love it. And
You love the creative process.
And
the
it brings
camaraderie
enjoyment
and-
to you, you know?
But I think with me, it was more like I loved it because I was with you guys. I don't think I could do it with anybody else.
I mean, that was really the reason we did it,
Yeah.
because to hang out together
Yeah.
all the time. Like, we practiced, we never played shows. I mean, we did some.
Like,
let's go to practice.
Those are like wonderful times, though. We had a great time.
Oh,
Like, we
it was
were
so
really,
much
there was
fun.
a lot of partying, you know. Maybe that's why we never had shows, because we were always like too busy, like
Smoking up.
Yeah, we're trying like our 2 songs and be like, let's go to a cigarette and let's like meet up.
Because
with
you have to
something.
like network. You know what I mean? Like play Subculture magazine. Remember that
No,
shit?
we would network, but then we'd end up partying with these people, and it wouldn't necessarily go anywhere.
And then nobody would remember anything.
Was
Exactly.
that a magazine Subculture?
Yeah, it was like an underground, like
Yeah. So Manny, what about you? What was your thing that?
Well, there's probably 2 for me, but like the biggest one obviously was coming out as gay. You know, back in the 90s, it wasn't. Even today, I think it's still hard. But I think the hard part about it is that once you come out, you never go back. Like, you can never go back to the way people perceive you before that. And even to this day, when somebody doesn't know I'm gay, like say I start a new job or something, there is still that little bit of anxiety every time when you come out. You know what I mean? Or if I say like something like, oh, my boyfriend, like I just came out to this person.
Right.
And there's still, even though it's, a lot of times, most of the time it's unfounded, but you always have that fear of rejection, especially, obviously you have that fear of being rejected by your family, by your parents, by your friends. And,
I have a wonderful woman that works in my office that she recently got married to her partner, and she's in her 50s, and she is so great. She shared something with me that was so wonderful, that she used to always work out of her home. This is her first office environment, and she was so scared to like share with people that, you know, she was married to a woman and that, you know, that she didn't know how people would react to her. And this is a woman in her 50s, and, you know, she's like, I've been through walking, you know, people spitting on me and hating me just because I was gay.
Oh my
and
God.
she's a beautiful, wonderful woman. And like Lisa, you know, I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Like, you're a human. Love is love. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But, you know, she was very nervous, and she's so happy that our, you know, our offices welcome her and you know, don't care, you know.
That's
And so many people don't have that reality. Like, even when we're walking down the street, like, and I'll
Yeah.
grab Cameron's hand, there's always that little bit of like,
Unbelievable.
oh, should I be doing this? You know, or somebody could say something, and it's unfounded. You know, it's never.
It's like in the back of
it
your
hasn't
head.
happened, but it's always there, and
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
believe
you know,
it.
I'm aware of it, and it's, you know. And it's still, like, very painful, but I'm so happy that, like, my parents finally came to terms with it. Like, it took them, oh my God.
That's huge because some
Like, it took
people-
me 18 years, it took
Yeah.
them probably another 18 years.
Yes. And that's the thing, like, you know, some
Which,
people,
you know.
they become estranged from their families. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, like, that's just so awesome that,
Some people get rejected. and-
that didn't happen. You
But
know
I'm
what I
also
mean?
so happy to be gay. Oh my God.
Well,
Cameron and I
it's
say it all the
you.
time. We're like, we are so happy we're gay.
But it's you. That's who you are.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
right.
It's not like
You're
you
happy to be
became
comfortable
gay.
in who you are.
Happy to be comfortable, but also
Yeah.
happy to not live by normal societal norms.
Like
either.
having to.
Like, we kind of get to invent.
Yeah.
Because I feel like straight people sometimes are forced a lot of times into like looking like their life looking a certain way, and if it doesn't, there's something wrong with you, you know. And I
You
think
know
when you're
what's interesting?
gay,
That just made
you
me
don't
think of
really
something.
have that. You're just kind of like, I can do
Yeah,
whatever the hell I want.
that's
I can get
true.
married. I don't have to get married.
Yeah.
I can
Right.
be single.
Yeah.
I can be in a throuple, whatever it is.
Maybe
But
that's
I
why
feel
I'm always
like
hanging out with the gays because I'm.
we have
you know,
less rules
yeah.
because the whole point was to
I
reinvent.
think the newer generation that's slowly not.
It's probably
That's good.
becoming more normalized.
It's so, yeah, it's not.
That's great.
Their reaction
I like
to
that.
things like nobody says to me, like even like people I have clients that are like younger. Even if I say to them like how old I am, I don't have kids. Nobody ever goes, "Do you ever want to get married or have
Yes,
kids?"
exactly.
It's always
it's always
doing
older
that.
people.
They never did.
It's the
It's
older
always
people.
the older people.
Absolutely.
It's definitely people over
Yeah.
35 that
Oh,
want
yeah.
that want to stick to
Oh no,
social.
I've come across the young ones that are totally like, gotta get the ring, gotta get married, gotta have babies, and all this stuff.
I think that's
and
fine.
I'm like, you know what?
What's
That's your
nice is
thing.
you
That's
choose what
great.
you want.
That's what I'm saying. That's your thing. Awesome. But it's like I don't feel the need to have to conform to that. I just never was that way. Like I always just kind of did my own thing anyhow, and I don't give a shit. You know, I've said it before,
Right.
like in previous episodes, and it's just like, you know, sometimes I'm like, seriously, man, like, why are you fucking getting on my case? I don't fucking sit there and talk shit about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like that's
But
the only
there's
thing that I
less
ask
of
is like,
that.
don't talk shit about me. What the fuck?
There's
you know what
less
I mean?
of that
Yeah.
though.
What was your other thing, Manny?
Well, after I lived in Italy for 5 years, obviously that was a huge choice, like leaving and going
That's
there and living
fantastic,
there.
yeah.
But coming back was actually the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Was after living abroad for 5 years, coming back to the U.S. Those like the years, like probably like a good 5 years or 6 years. It was so hard.
Yeah.
Like the culture shock was really
Yeah.
hard. The idea of, because in Italy, you know, even people won't ask you what you do for a living. Maybe the second or third time they meet you, they might ask you, but not the first time. Like what
Yeah.
you do is so secondary to who you are,
Mhm.
and like I got
Not
so
here.
used to that, you know, and I got
Right,
so
yeah.
used to like eating good food and taking care of yourself,
Nutritious
and like
food.
and having a community of people that you were always hanging out with, and you know, they were like your family there, you know, and having that community, and then coming to the U.S., which is much more individualistic, much more alienating. Even though we have really close friendships, but
Yeah.
like it was like we don't spend the time together. We don't have the time
Yeah.
that they do there. You know, we
work
work
our
so
asses off,
much,
yeah.
and
It's
it's
weird,
so
though.
alienating,
People-
and it was the worst trying to get used to it again. And I just got myself into a job where it just dug me in more and more into a hole of like work
Yes.
and
Like just right off the bat, just coming back. Yeah.
and then all the way up to the point where I became a COO of that company. Like
Yes.
it just sucked me in and sucked me in and sucked me in, and I got so far from what I learned
Yeah.
living in Italy.
Yeah.
But that also caused me to like do my recent, job change and
Right.
pursue music and stuff. And it's,
Right.
Because
you
you
know,
went
it's
to
always-
the extreme
I went to
part
the
Yeah, it's like on
of
both sides.
spectrum of the person you never wanted to become.
and I became that person.
And
I
that
also-
person, what was that moment where you were like, "Arr!" wait a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went to Guatemala the last
Oh,
time.
yeah, that's right. That was a
And I'm
definitive
going again in
point.
February if anybody wants to go.
The yoga retreat.
Cameron, Courtney is going. Courtney, who was on our show.
We're going to Italy.
Who's going to Italy? You guys are?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Maybe we should go to Italy.
Yeah! Why don't we all go to Italy?
Oh my gosh. You girls, the LaGrassos are going to finally go to Italy. Release has never been to Italy, right?
No,
Rosa,
I
you-
have.
I've never.
Oh,
No,
no,
yeah.
you've never
Yes.
been. Oh my god, you guys
Yeah.
are going to take that place by storm. That's so
Get
exciting.
yourself
I was like, I wonder if
So you're gonna get yourself a Fury.
The guys are going to go nuts for you
Oh
guys.
my god. And that's what I was saying. I was like, maybe Manny and Rosa want to go because they have family over there too.
What dates?
Mid-February.
Yeah, because
March.
that's when we're planning to go to Guatemala.
Yeah.
I mean, we just talked about this like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
We just decided.
Mm.
But maybe we can.
Take a detour from Guatemala.
Yeah, they're close.
yeah.
So what? Where are you guys gonna go? Can I like give you your whole itinerary or what?
Oh, well, Sicily, and then,
Yeah.
like, you know, because my dad, of course, is told, like, we're going to take you to Rome, we're going to go to
Yeah,
Florence,
you
we're
gotta
going to go
go
to
to
freaking, you know, and all this stuff. And then I have an uncle that's in Switzerland, but I don't know, you know, because
Switzerland's beautiful too.
Yeah, because we'll be there for a few weeks, so I'm so excited, you know what I mean? So,
I would say
Yes.
anywhere you go is good. It
Yes.
just doesn't even matter.
Yes.
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So that whole thing of what you do for a living, because I noticed before when I would be like, oh, I just do this and this, people were like, oh, whatever. I don't know if that's just in my mind, but when I tell people that now I actually have a career that they could define me by, there's more respect.
isn't it, that's fucked
Because
up.
that's how we view we compartmentalize everybody
Yeah.
into what they do.
Yeah.
If
And
you
it's
don't-
so not who
true.
you are.
It's true.
It's a part of who you are.
I try and say that because I kind of always lead with, like, I hate my job. This is what it is. It doesn't define me as a person. I'm so much more than this 8 to 5 bullshit job that I hate. And I wish I would have done something different, but I feel like I'm stuck in some ways. And I know you always have a choice. I'm very aware of the fact that everyone has a choice and whatnot, but it's this place I go to spend 8 and 10 hours a day, and then I live my life after that. You know, I'm a completely different person when I leave there.
Well, Nora, you need to tell what your hardest thing you've ever done is.
It was probably making the decision to leave my marriage.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's big.
And that was such
Because
a,
with the-
I think,
with
a
kids
great,
and stuff like
good
that,
decision.
Because it was, it was my comfort zone, even though it wasn't anything but comfortable in any way,
But still
shape, or
with the
form. But I grew up without having the nuclear family, and I created a nuclear family, and it was still dysfunctional. And something had to give, and I didn't want to pay that forward to my children. I didn't want to give them this fucked up nuclear family.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to remember their parents fighting. I didn't want to feel unliked and unloved. I was done with feeling unliked and unloved, and I needed to break that glass ceiling. I needed to get out. I needed to breathe again. I needed to feel like human again. I didn't feel human, so I needed to
So
do that for
proud of
And that's
myself,
a huge step.
so that I could present that to my children, so that my children could feel like everyone has a choice. I was never told I had a choice growing up. I've been in dysfunctional relationships since I started dating because I didn't know. I didn't have relationship role models, so I didn't know. And because I had low self-confidence, then I just let people walk all over me, and then I realized that I had a choice, and that the choices I make are going to affect my children forever. And so some people would say this is a bad choice, but I don't think it was, because I think it would have only gotten worse. There was so much, manipulation, emotional manipulation. There was, it was bad, and there's just no way I wanted my children to see that and for that to be a role model for
Exactly.
who they were going to become as adults. So it was hard. It was hard because I'm a single mom now. I try and do my best, but I am fucking poor as fuck. I'm knee deep in debt, but I did it, and I know that finding happiness within myself was the most important thing
Absolutely.
And I feel like you are more yourself
Oh,
now
yeah.
than you were everywhere.
That's
in your
I
life.
always
agree.
want to ask how. Not that this is gonna sound like I'd be like who you were before. It was like, oh, you're like so different, like just so much more laid back. Like what
More
caused
present.
that?
More present.
Yeah.
More like taking things as they come, rolling with the punches.
Because
not letting
when
things get to
when
you.
somebody tells you
Yeah.
that you are not valuable and you are not worthy, and someone makes you feel that way, and then they kind of you feel like you're inside a pinball machine constantly. When you come out of that and you realize that you had choice, and that the only thing that matters is love and kindness and respect and connection, and it makes a big difference in how you see the world. And I'm not perfect. I mean, I'm not a perfect parent. I'm not a perfect partner. I'm not a perfect anything. I mean, I don't. And so I'm still learning that every day, because I'm still striving to be the person I've always wanted to be, the person that's inside me, that I've always said, like, this is Nora, and like Nora never came out because there was this thick armor around me, because I had to shield myself from all the bullshit around me. So now I'm finally like, oh, I don't have this armor anymore, like I can kind of be me.
And that's growing from that
That's
experience,
growing,
from that fucked up experience.
People don't like
That's-
when you realize like people, you're like people just aren't going to change. They are who they are. You like did.
Yeah,
You know what
I mean, I
Like,
think
how
that
you
people
deal
do
with
can.
things
Yeah,
is
I
that
think they can.
You don't see that. Really.
It's not very common.
So I always.
Well, yeah, I can't say I had a lot of. I was self-aware at all at any point, in the past 20 years. I can't say that I knew I had a choice. I can't say that I didn't rely on somebody else to try and make me feel valued. All these things that make a person and that make them, function in society. I don't think I had that. And then it's like something I wanted to strive for, like, oh, that's what a real human being's supposed to do and feel. And, besides I have a lot of regrets in my life. I didn't finish school, which I'm trying to do now, but, I have a lot of things I realized I didn't know I had a choice. I keep saying that because it's true. You're like, well, this is just the way life is.
It's
like,
true.
this person treats me like this, and this is just the way life is. And, and then one day you're like, no, I don't want to cry every night. I don't want to be made to feel this way. Humans are not supposed to feel this way. I just can't.
That's always with me in anxiety. Like when I would have anxiety, I was scared of everything. First of all, that wasn't. It's not that anything is like normal. I don't want to say. It's just. Not
It wasn't
how a person should
healthy.
function.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
healthy for some. When I was a kid, people would just be like, "Ha ha, you're super neurotic. You're just neurotic." There's nobody, I think, that's just neurotic. I mean, I'm sure there's a personality type, but until you realize, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not gonna be afraid of like stupid shit. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right, once you well, that's the defining point. Once you realize what's stupid, what's not. You know what I mean?
Maybe
Right.
somebody else that's big and it's not.
Everyone has their own thing, and that's part of acknowledging the human condition. That, like, my pain is totally different than your pain, but we both feel pain in our own way.
Yeah.
Like, you could feel pain because, like, you lost your keys when you were 15. I could feel pain because somebody beat me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
we take things rough.
Yeah.
we take these differently, but our perspective on the pain is the same. And it's not me. It's not for me to judge.
It's like the
that,
process.
like my pain isn't more than your pain. You felt that pain. You lost your keys.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt the pain because I got beat up and like
It's
left
still
in the gutter.
yeah.
We each are able, and that was a big thing for me to learn.
Yeah.
Because people judge you like, well, you didn't.
Yeah,
nothing.
you're right.
That's nothing.
Right.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say that.
And you
Like,
can't say that
yeah.
to someone because
Right.
what they feel and their perspective on
Right.
how things affected them is their own thing. And, that's what they have to deal with. And
Yeah.
Right.
it's a big eye-opening experience for sure.
Yeah.
And I think once you face your fear and like do this really difficult thing, it makes everything else seem a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, I was constantly told I can't, I didn't have value, and that I couldn't survive with this person, and that I was nothing without this person, and all these things that, of course, now you realize it's because they have the self-confidence issues, and they want to feel wanted and needed, and but when it's presented in that way,
of course,
especially with someone who I've always been very sensitive.
Yeah.
And so, but then I learned then I became very angry because, you know, pain is anger. When you get your feelings hurt, it just turns into anger. And so then I'm like, I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be throwing a vase across the room.
Yeah, Jesus.
You know?
You have to, like, see yourself. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
like I don't want to scream into the cushion.
And
I
that's
don't want to
self-awareness.
cry myself to sleep every night. I don't want to do those things anymore. That's not right. This is not the way. I have one life. And each day I do this, I'm wasting a smile, I'm wasting happiness, I'm wasting precious moments, I'm wasting time being a good parent.
It takes toll on your health, too.
I have to say that to me is the very last thing that would be the mother of all hard things in life. If I don't know if I'm ever going to have kids, but having kids would have to probably be one of the hardest things.
Of course.
It's hardest, but I feel like for people, once they have them, they really, I mean, most people I know that's had them, they're thankful. You know what I mean? They had them, and it is really hard.
Thankful, but I mean, like, just all
really
just to go through, I mean, it's a
life-changing.
huge responsibility. Like, that's huge.
Yeah.
I love my children. I regret nothing in my life that led me to the point of having children. I feel that when my relationship came about, was right in the middle of like the band stuff and everything, and like that was the fork in the road. I could have been like, I could have gone this way with music and being on the road and having fun and living that lifestyle, and then I ended up being like home and a wife and a mother and all these things I probably wasn't ready for. So you know, I'm not without fault at all. Because I didn't have the tools. I didn't know how to deal with any of that stuff. I didn't have perspective on life. I was just like, okay, here's another thing. Here's another load on my backpack. Here's another load on my backpack. Here's another load on my backpack. Just look down and keep carrying. Just look down and keep carrying. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. You know, wait a minute. This shouldn't hurt. I should be able to take the backpack off and be able to, like, lighten my load.
Right.
And so,
but had you have not known that, you would have, like, remember, like, my dad's like, Rosa, you're never going to be ready to have kids. I wasn't ready. But
I didn't want to have kids. You know, 9/11 happened, and I was like, nope.
Yeah.
I don't want to get kids. I don't want to have kids. I don't want to bring them into this world. And my husband at the time was like, you know, right, you're never going to be ready. You know, we want to do this. We want to do this. So
that was like when you were deciding. Was it around that
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. She was then born in 2002.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was born October.
Yeah.
2002.
It was like a year
Yeah,
later.
and then do you remember just the energy after 9/11?
Yeah. It was
how
crazy. It was surreal.
The whole world just shifted energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a really scary time.
Yeah.
But I, you know, I'll never regret ever having children. They're the most beautiful things in my life, and I love them. I just feel bad that I feel like I'm not a good mom. Like I can't provide for them. Like,
Oh my
I
God,
wish
you
I
are the
could.
best. You are
Yeah.
a wonderful
So,
mom.
like, you know, I'm not prepared for their future. If I were to die right now, they'd be like shit out of luck. You know, they'd have the goldfish.
No, that's
but I feel like you are so emotionally there for them, and
That's
you're
what I'm saying, because
spiritually
that's
there
like
for them.
literally almost
That's the most
everyone.
important.
Like, who the fuck is not like that? People
Yeah,
like
everyone's like
Hinsdale?
paycheck to
Right.
paycheck.
I mean,
Right.
like,
Right.
who
Like
is-
people on the Gold Coast. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but in the end, when you're not like, wow,
The stuff
I was
that
so
really
happy
matters.
My parents bought me a bike. What are you more upset with? You're like, why the fuck did you send me to a Chicago public school? So those are the things that, man, I'm not like, wow, when I was 5, I got Nintendo. You know what I mean? And that's like stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, what really matters in the end is, I think, all the stuff that you're doing. I mean, unless you have some, like, little prick of a kids, which you don't.
Right. And the fact
Yeah,
that you
I
even
mean-
think about that stuff, that is
Yeah,
what's
you
important
reflect.
to you, that already, you know, makes you
That
a
already
good
says
mother,
you're a good
I
parent,
think.
yeah,
You know
for
what I mean?
sure.
Because that's
For sure.
huge.
And they're great.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, their lifestyle is fine.
Right.
Well, they eat. They have clothes in their back, and they have a roof over their head.
And they're super smart and freaking talented
Yeah.
and awesome.
Yeah.
They're wonderful.
The
I
kids
love
are
your
pretty
kids.
cool.
It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have really good kids. You have really cool kids.
Speaking of kids, that makes me think of the other topic that we were kicking around a little bit is,
Oh, God.
how did it go now? What is it that you realize now that you're Veach that you thought you had figured out at 19?
Oh. Now that you're V.
Like, jump in with both feet.
Yeah.
For me, you gotta do
Like, things
stuff
are not
like
that scary.
You have to shake up stuff. Things are not that scary. You always pretty much get over it, unless you end up in, like, in a gutter.
Oh my
But,
God.
pretty much nothing is really
It's
Serious.
not that important perspective, right? Like,
Yeah.
you are this minute
Yeah.
You
Spec.
have spec.
Yeah.
On
And you're like,
the
God
planet,
damn it,
let alone
it
the
really-
galaxy, let alone the universe, you know.
And God damn it really does make you stronger.
It does.
Like, you know,
That's what I keep
all
telling
that
you.
stuff. You're like, it makes you strong.
It does.
And it really has to hurt in order for it to make an impact.
I don't even
It's
remember
gotta be
when I
hard.
was fucking 19.
Oh man, I just remember being
That's when the blackout happened.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I had 20 years of my life that were gone.
that we remember.
I feel
You
like-
don't remember it, but we remember it.
Yeah.
Like everything that happened.
Like, if it's gonna hurt, walk toward it.
So why don't you
sometime.
tell me
Yes.
what I had figured out when I was
Yeah, like when they say when the monster's chasing you in the dream, you're supposed to turn around and face it.
Yeah.
That's happened
Like
to me
that
before.
kind of thing.
I've had it.
realized
Yeah,
that
yeah, that's
in-
happened to me
it's
You're
before.
supposed to
true.
turn around.
Okay,
Yeah.
my dream last night, I had a dream that I put a screen inside another screen. It looked like those gutter screens that you put at the end of the like you know to filter out leaves. I had 2 of those, and then I swallowed it, and I was like, how the fuck am I gonna shit this out?
That's what that means.
I'm gonna die. I was like, this is not gonna come out in one piece, and it's gonna fucking hurt.
Okay, so that probably means
Yeah,
because a filter.
Yeah.
What does a filter do? Like filters out stuff.
Like things that you don't want.
Right. So that's probably poignant.
But
Yeah.
I swallowed.
Yeah, you totally ate that
filter
shit.
inside the filter.
You ate both of them.
I was like, boo.
Do you feel? Do you
And
find
then
this-
I remember freaking out, going, "Oh shit! How's this gonna come out my asshole?"
Now that makes me think of,
Are you afraid of filtering things? Are you afraid?
or that the things that you should have filtered out, you didn't, and now you feel stuck. Like, how you gonna get it out now?
Or the
That's
opposite.
interesting. Like the shit that happened to you when you were younger.
Or the
All the
opposite,
stuff
you
that
should
made
have
you a
said-
person.
You should have said what you felt, and now you like, you know.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like everything's bottled in, or the stuff that made you up as a person, the things that you feel
And also
are just in your personality that you feel are holding you back. You can't work through them. Like you're afraid you can't work through them.
because of the
So you were afraid to caca it out, like
Yeah.
in the dream. It could mean that. Isn't that funny? Like in dreams, you could interpret them that way. Somebody else could have a completely different interpretation. But it was 2 fucking filters. That's a lot of shit.
Inside the filter.
And maybe it could
And then
also.
I swallowed that shit like nobody did it with no water, by the way. And then as it was going down, I was like,
Maybe your dream is saying like, I'm okay with mouth stuff. I gotta be better with butt.
Oh my god!
for the record, I'm pretty okay with
Yeah, like I don't think that's what that means.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm pretty okay with butt stuff.
I think that should be the name of this episode. I'm pretty okay with that stuff.
Yo, man, is it
All right,
awesome?
with mouth stuff. Let's get on with this butt stuff. So when you're like at 19, it should just be like, just eat the ass.
Just eat the
Yeah.
ass.
Oh, yeah, of course. Rosa, every episode she has to say that at some point.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah, eat that ass. You want to eat that ass? Eat that ass.
I went to.
As long as it's in the bathroom, like in the
In the
bathroom.
van? Oh. She has stipulations.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah,
you,
it'd be
but,
like, it's all good.
like in the shower?
Yeah, like in the bathtub, like get scrubbed.
Only eat an ass in the shower.
Like with the soap. Like after it's been soap.
Well, all you gotta do is scratch and sniff, and that's how you know. You have to do the scratch and sniff.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. It's like, eat that ass as long as it's in the shower.
I recently had coffee.
All right. That was
recently
great.
had coffee with a friend, and we were talking about dating and stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know this next generation." He's like, "Everyone's eating each other's ass." He's like, "It's gotta be unsanitary."
Unless it's in the shower.
That's your solution.
Everyone's
Yeah.
eating each other's ass.
Oh.
Left and right.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
That was a Kevin Hart. Remember, he's like, and then it always fights, and it's like that's why you always want your ass eaten all the time. It's like now you gotta sit here with I like to get my ass in the face. And you're like, hey, it wasn't that one time. It was just on my birthday and I wanted my ass eaten. So eat the ass unless it's in the shower. Only the shower. That's when the ass is on the menu. So we just took it.
Yeah, Yeah, like, and you make sure it's washed properly.
Gotta be organic soap. I ain't fucking licking no sulfates.
That could be a good band name, Lickin' Sulfates.
Yeah, it's like, I ain't licking no sulfates.
I ain't looking no sulfates. You wear Whole Foods wash it.
Oh my god, is that funny?
It's a good episode, guys.
Yeah, of course it always has to go here. We're like all serious and shit. And like all like, yeah.
And then we got the butts in.
Yeah, of course they have to.
The butt bomb.
Butt bomb.
That just gave me like topics for our next thing. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Oh yeah.
Well, this has been a fantastic episode.
Yes, it has. It was totally very enlightening. It's like there's some good tips. Yeah, good tips.
I'm telling you, the scratch and sniff. It's the way to go.
So
with
what if
anything.
you smell some nasty shit?
Then you don't go. You don't go down there.
How do you break it to them?
Well, no, you just do something else.
Yeah, start doing something else.
Pretend you're just gonna finger the
Like,
ass?
well, I was just grabbing my wallet.
Oh, so
You reminded me I need to change first.
Oh man, that's awesome.
You just think I just need to grab my credit card, and then you can credit card swipe their ass.
Oh yeah.
Approved.
Oh man. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks so much for listening, guys.
Yes, thanks as always. Until
Appreciate
next time. Yeah.
And everybody has like a chore or whatever to do one thing that scares you. You gotta do it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
One thing that
Even
scares
if
you
it's
every
something-
day.
Even if it's something
Yeah,
stupid
even
like
if it's
driving on the highway. I still haven't been able to conquer that shit. I don't like the highway.
Yeah.
I'll quit my job in the market.
You should try it in the shower.
All right, guys. On that note.
On that note, we'll see you in the shower.
Till next time.
Ciao for now.
If you like what you heard, please share us on Twitter at Bitch Podcast, on Facebook at Lab Podcast Chicago, on Instagram at l.a.b._podcast, or visit our website www.labpodcast.com.